Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus and the NOPA Crush report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Okay, everybody, give me a heads up, please. Let me just know that you can hear me, and we'll get our charts set up. Give me a heads up. Anyone out there, please? Frank, that was a good, right? Okay, thanks. Okay. So, let's look at the DMM, but first things first, we want to get our charts on the right instrument. ZL. So if you know the prefix, you can just type the first two letters of the prefix, double click the future down in the list, and that puts the right instrument on the chart. So ZL should be ZL 1225. Instrument lists. I think the next one would be ZL. I don't think there's a 126, is there? There is. ZL 126. There's no 12. There's no 2. There might be a 3. Let's see. I'm sure there's no 2. No 2. And then there must be a 3. ZL 0326. There is. Okay. Let me just put some future soybeans on the chart. Soybeans, we already have we have a 1, I'm sure. Let's put 0326 on the chart. And while I'm at it, let's put corn. Corn doesn't have a 1, so corn probably has a 3. Already exists, and with 12 is already on there. Okay, corn's on there already. Anyway, ZL 1225 is what we're trading. You want to put your data series, right click, and put your instrument settings on default 24/7 because that's the correct setting for grains. Apply it and OK it. Data series, right click the chart, data series, trading hours, default 24/7. It's because grains have an open and close that's different than the regular, most of the other instruments that we trade. And it's so that the pivots and the high of day and low of day, they calculate on the right times. And there's a bug somewhere in our software that keeps changing my margin. It's driving me absolutely insane. And I don't want to have to fix it by creating a template. That's not the fix. All right, so look, here's the deal with this trade. It stopped working when the tariffs were announced because China stopped buying soy products. And we've had many months of no movement in this report, or very little, except last month we had some movement. But let's just take a look at the DMM first. So just to backtrack, instrument we're trading, ZL 1225. Let's check our volume. Go to new, going to market analyzer, add ZL 1225. It's 2 days until rollover. Add ZL 126. Is there a 126? Yes, there is, and there's mixed volume. I hate that when there's mixed volume. And it truly is mixed. They're almost equal. And then ZL 326. Plenty of volume on there, too. So it is a shame. The correct instrument still for another 2 days is ZL 1225. So that's what I'm trading. I'm also going to put soybeans on my chart, the right chart, ZS. Are we 12 on soybeans? I never know with the grains. I hate to say it. I'm ignorant when it comes to the grains. Come on. What did we trade on WASD Friday? ZS 126, wasn't it? Yeah. Soybeans are making new high after new high after new high. Now, don't get excited. I'm not really planning on trading soybeans on this. I just want to watch them. Every now and then on this report, they've moved a little bit. It hasn't been very meaningful. So soybeans in March are pretty good. Much higher volume. January absolutely is correct. Just making new high after new high after new high. Um, Indicator grains are generally thought of in terms of points. And soybean oil is also close to a new high. Looking at a 15-minute chart. Whoa, what the heck happened this morning with soybeans? Did something in the farming community get announced at about 10 o'clock, a little bit before 10? Let me go back in my news feed and see if anything shows up. So that looks like it was about, really the move started early. It was this morning. Started about 6 in the morning. Consolidate, made a new high, but then it really, really went up about 9:30. Looks like at the market open. So I'm just going back in my feed to see if I see anything. Going back a little bit before 9:30. So there's quite an interesting case. I mean, just this Adriana Kugler was a Fed governor, and either her or her husband made trades that weren't allowed by someone who works for the Fed. And she had resigned. I haven't read enough about the whole story. You rarely ever read about someone in the Fed doing something they're not supposed to do. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like Mr. I love the Fed, um, but they seem to have integrity, if you know what I mean. They're not usually insider trading, or at least they don't get caught. They don't get caught. Well, this person got caught. So it's pretty rare. You don't see that very often. You don't see that very often. While I'm talking, folks, I'm looking through my news feed to see if I see anything that might have caused soybean oil to burst to the upside. You know, it makes this trade, if there is going to be a trade, more complicated. But I don't see anything in particular. Um, oh, excuse me. Hang on, I'm doing a little bit of research here. All right, so if we just look at the DMM, so I'm not seeing any real specific news, no clear headline, nothing distinct. Um, Nothing other than more generalized news about the fact that the markets are bullish because they're hoping and expecting China is going to buy. That is totally not verified. I don't believe there are any contracts that have been signed, and it's just talk at the moment. But the markets are bullish, okay, about that. If we look at the last trade here, I think there's a possibility we can get a bigger move than normal because of all the attention, all the positiveness. It may be that the move's already been made and we're going to just have dullness. Um, Unfortunately, seeing that gigantic move up, that very big move up, uh, definitely makes me think that we're not going to get the size move that I was thinking might be possible because it looks like the market's made the move. Here was October. Now, this is a report that it's not reported anywhere public really, except, if you go to the soybean oil, the Soybean Oil Producers Association, the national NOPA, NOPA, National, what's it stand for? I forgot. National Organization of something soybean oil producers, whatever the heck it's called. I don't know. But they have an organization. Look up NOPA. You Google NOPA, you'll find the organization. So last quarter, we had a decent move, nothing to write home about. And it was a bullish move. And I think if I remember, if we stayed in long enough, we got to do a little bit of trailing, at least to target one, and a little bit more. Thought that it would hit the high, and it didn't. We thought it would go to the high. Never made it. All right, so what we're going to do, we're at the high now, which I'm really concerned it's going to ruin the trade, unfortunately. I wish we weren't at that high. We're going to put a reverse continue on the chart in case we get filled in the wrong direction and stopped out. I would consider getting back in on the other side. It's $6. I think it's 6 a tick or $6.25 a tick. So we're going to put on a strategy, news trader, reverse continue, and I'll do a 25 tick stop and a 20 tick target. That's my reverse continue. And I'll trade this in my number 23, the account we've been trading most things in since last week. And we will call this ZL reverse continue. Very simple. And then we'll set up our breakout. And let's I'm going to leave my charts on sim for a minute. Okay, looking at the DMM. It looks terrible, I know, but it's been all canceled, so it's not like everybody lost money on this report. It just hasn't triggered. Okay? And by the way, I do want to say hello to our friends on YouTube. I did start the stream. I am behaving properly. If I say I'm streaming on the schedule, I'm trying to stream in real life. Scream. I'm doing some screaming too. Streaming and screaming, both. We're streaming and screaming. That's something we do pretty regularly. All right. So you could see that it really hasn't been moving much. I'm going with the regular setup. It's a breakout strategy. Turn on News Trader, add it to the chart. Breakout is the default. We're going to trigger. This does not usually trigger early. It's a 12 o'clock event, 11 fit, although for the last 6 months we don't know what's going on. It hasn't been triggering at all. So we'll trigger 11:59:59 like we usually do. Going to use our normal bracket. I still think there's a possibility for a decent move. I do. And I'm going to go for targets of 6 and 30. I'm going to plan for a big move. If it's not a big move, no problem. You just manage it. So target 1's going to be 6. Target 2 is going to be 30. The stop is 15. And if it hits my first target, oh man, I'm live. I'm just going to BE minus 8. BE minus 8 if it hits my first target. So I'm triggering at 11:59:59. Bracket of 8. Targets of 6 and 30. Stop of 15. Let's set the time to 0 for a minute. Turn on the trade. All right. Definitely not loving the fact that we're triggering right above the high. Not loving it at all. I wish we were much lower, but we're not. 11:59:59 is our trigger. Let's put our account number 23. Target of 6, target of 30, stop of 15. All right, we've chosen our account, apply it and okay it. Put the charts on the correct account. Or do I want to trade it in number 20? Because I think we're going to make money today. I want to build that chart, that account up. I'm going to put it in my other account where I'm down 30 bucks from this morning. No big deal. I'm just going to change the account from 23 to 20. Apply it and do the same thing with the breakout, number 20. Apply it so it makes the change. Make the change in the chart trader. Okay. And so we have two setups and we need going to put a soybean reverse continue on the chart. News trader. Soybeans are $12.50 a tick. We'll just look for 15 tick target. a 15 tick stop. And we could do that in the same account as well. Remember, that's a discretionary trade, so we'll label that ZS. Reverse continue. We could rename our reverse continues to a scalp, but scalps scare people. You know, if you say scalp, people get scared. They go, I don't scalp. I don't scalp. Apply it, okay it, put the chart on number 20, turn it on. So we have a reverse continue on soybeans. They sometimes mirror what we see with the oil. We've seen that, all right? So there is no news. In other words, I don't have a calendar that's going to show us what happens in this report. Okay, I suppose you could go to the National Oilseed Producers Association. That's what it's called, NOPA. National Oilseed Producers Association. NOPA. That's what it is. Let me show you. Here was a cool day. We came in. We walk into the room. I walked into the party. And we got to the room. We got to the party. And the market was closed. Limit up. So there's something that happens in any market, but it's a little bit more common in the grain markets. What happened was there was news overnight that moved the grain market so much that it hit the limit price, so that the grain market was closed until the next official open of the grain market. And we were not able to trade grains in May because the price hit limit the evening, I believe it was the evening before, so we had no trade. We could not trade. I think what we did is we did watch soybeans. You could see soybean oil on the right. There was no chart. There was no data being printed. And we were watching soybeans on the left to see if there was any kind of tradable move. I actually even put a breakout on, and noon came out. And really, it was nothing, no move, which not surprising. Like I said, soybean, regular soybean, sometimes we see some mirroring, but not, if it was something to write home about, we would tell you because we've been doing this for 2 years, this report. And it's the oil that moves, not the beans. Okay? It's a soybean oil report. It's not a bean report. However, you'd think, don't they need the beans to make the oil? I thought so. Now, I'm not Farmer Brown, so I'm not like, Joe Farmer. I don't know that much about farming other than the fact that, you know, you put some boots on, you throw a few seeds around, and then you come back in a few months and there's your food. That's about what I know about farming. All right, we've got about 3 minutes. Any farmers out there? There's probably some farmer out on the internet listening to us because we're streaming. There's got to be a farmer out there on the internet. Yeah. So are we going to get a burst? Are we going to get a burst? Um, I'm thinking that it's not going to move up much more than it already is because it's had a pretty big move up. But every time I try to outsmart the market hands it to me. So I'd rather just take the risk. It's not exactly an account exploding, blowing up an account type risk. It's not that gigantic a risk. So I don't mind taking the trade, see what happens. The first year that we traded NOPA, it treated us really well. We had 11 out of 12 that had the potential for profit, and I believe we got profit on 9 or 10 of those. I think maybe one was mistrade, not good trade management, but there was only one official stop the first year we traded NOPA. Then last year, we traded NOPA all year, and it was just brutally difficult. It didn't respond the way it did the year before. It was just not moving very much. It was pretty painful to trade. But you all know me by now. It takes a long time for me to give up on a report, like maybe 30, 40 years before I give up on a report completely. I just can't give up on most reports. 1 minute. So there's a strong possibility that nothing will happen here. It's definitely a possibility. How long will I wait? Oh, it probably up to a minute. Here come our orders. There's the orders. Now, theoretically, you have a news report. Now, you could press the adjust button right now if you want to, unless you think this news report is short. Personally, I'd rather see the price move a little bit closer to the orange arrow than just dribble down and fill us short when it's so bullish. But I'm not going to press the adjust button at the moment. I don't think we've ever seen a situation where the news wasn't out within a minute in the 2 years that we've been trading this. So it looks like we have no interest. We're back at the original price. Normally, I would cancel. So to cancel, you just press the X. That'll cancel the trade. I do believe this is a canceled trade. I do believe this is a canceled trade. It's not going to be 2 minutes late. It's just not how it works. So I would cancel. I'm trying to wait 2 full minutes for whatever reason. I don't even know why. There's no trade here. All right, I'm canceling. Turn off your strategy. How sad. That's very sad. So now we're just watching for a minute or two. Maybe there'll be a giant move that we can enter with the reverse continuation strategy, but it doesn't even appear. So it appears that the move was made early this morning for whatever reason. The market responded. I don't believe that the report was released early. That's not what I think happened. Something happened that created a very, very large bullish move in soybean oil, so that even if this report came out and was bullish, if it wasn't so monstrously bullish as to overcome and even move more than it already moved, we're getting dullness. So sometimes, look, every trade isn't a trade. Every event isn't an explosion into the stratosphere. Every trade isn't a loss. Every trade isn't a win. Sometimes a trade is a no-fill. More often than not, not more often than not, more often than you would think, we get no-fills. Now, there was some bullish signals given before the news. We did get a aftershock reversal squeeze, even though there was really no shock to speak of. The shock was the new high, and that signal was here, and it was very small. It wasn't very big in terms of the move. It would have been all of... Now, this market's going up, but I'm not going to chase it from here now. 8 ticks is all that moved, and it was not the direction you should have taken because of the bullishness of the market. I don't think I would have taken a short there. So we did get more bullish signals around 1151. So around 1151, there was some bullish. Bullish sounds lot like BS, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to say BS, but it sounds like BS. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get in trouble for cursing. That was our signal there. And let's see how many ticks. Now, normally we wouldn't trade then because it's before the news, only by a couple of minutes. You could get complete randomness in the size of the move and in direction. That's not smart. We don't trade coin tossing. We don't toss coins. And when you take a trade 5 minutes before the news, that's a coin toss. What's going to happen? So we don't do that normally. It was only 12 ticks anyway. So just most of the move is done, it looks like. If you go back in time a little bit, you saw what I saw. Did you see what I see? I love Christmas, but you know what I hate? I hate when they celebrate Christmas before Thanksgiving. It's despicable. It's just a money grab, and it makes me nuts. Absolutely nuts. And I'm nuts because they're not doing it nonstop. Everywhere you go, it's Christmas. It's not even Thanksgiving. You could see at 10 o'clock, a little bit before, there was a very substantial move in soybean oil futures. The history of this report is we do often see a nice amount of volatility before the report, way more than this consolidation. This is unusual. Normally we see a lot more price activity before this report. So there's no reason to go crying in a corner here because it was a 12 tick from the consolidation. It only went 12 ticks and it was not a signal to get in. You know, theoretically, you could say the signal that you could have paid attention to was a traditional squeeze signal after 12, after theoretically the news is known to the market. Here's your long, all right? There's your long. And how many ticks did it move? 10. All right. So it's not exactly a trade to write home about. Now you wait for an aftershock reversal squeeze, which is this signal here. But when the market is this bullish, you've got to take it with a grain of salt. Very, very bullish market. I mean, very. So you might not give yourself the best opportunity to take a short here. You might want to pass on it. Okay? Any questions? Anybody? So just to recap the morning, we made money. We made money on our oil open, another target one winner. Nice little winner on the oil open. The pre-YM open stopped us, and then we did a scalp to the low, made a few bucks back. MNQ was a target one winner. I think overall, silver was not exciting this morning. It was a mixed morning, I would say. We wound up profitable. When we go through all of our accounts, we definitely are up for the morning. Down 30 on this one. Um, up, oops, 235. So let's say we're up 200. And I think 40, so 244 bucks profit this morning. Okay. Any questions? Anybody? Change your data series. Go to data series. Sorry to keep you up, Roz, for nothing. Right click data series. Put your trading hours back on. Use instrument settings. Okay. Apply it and okay it. And same thing on the other chart. I'm going to go run an errand. Data series. Right click data series. I'm going to Foreman Mills. Frank knows what that is, but probably no one else. Foreman Mills. There's certain things in my life that I'm embarrassed to admit, but I will admit it. I don't buy designer clothes. Foreman Mills is the opposite of designer clothes. It's $3 shirts, 10 pairs of socks for $3, and it says on the package, slightly damaged in manufacturing. That's how I buy my clothes. And it's not because I'm cheap or because I'm broke. It's because I was diseased. My mother diseased me when I was a kid. Foreman Mills is so much cheaper than Costco, Calvin. You wouldn't believe it. I love Foreman Mills. Um, it's funny. It is funny. Yeah, we had depression era parents. Yep, it's true. It's true. Any other questions, folks? Any other questions? I don't have a Costco near me. I have a BJ's. I don't like BJ's. Costco's is way better than BJ's. First of all, calling it BJ's, I have a problem with that to begin with. That just doesn't work. You can't call it BJ's. I'm sorry. I don't remember FedMart. That kind of rings a bell, but I never had a FedMart. That doesn't ring. It kind of rings a bell, but I can't think of any. Um, we had a few, what do you call them? Department stores like A&S was around when I was a kid. Um, Great Eastern Mills was a real dump of a department store. They were around when I was a kid. A&S, Great Eastern Mills. First job I ever had was at Great Eastern Mills. I had hair down to the back of my pants. I had a ponytail, and they didn't allow ponytails. I wore a wig to my job. I wish I had pictures. It was insane. I don't know why I worked there. I had to wear a wig. My father got me the job because he had a hosiery business. Just my luck. My father could get me jobs counting women's stockings. No thanks, Dad. Oh, he had the most horrible job. He was a musician also, but when he stopped being a musician, he had a hosiery company. I can't think of anything more horrible. Stockings and socks. Oh my God. And then he invented something and got ripped off. He invented something called Sweet Souls. It was a great invention, and his boss ripped it off from him because he knew nothing about inventing something or patenting something, and it was a shame. But in those days, those were crazy days. I guess you could say I was a hippie. I was a hippie. Anyway, any questions about being a hippie? Anyone want to know what it was like to be a hippie? Or anybody want to know what it was like to like the Moody Blues? And I'll answer any question you have about anything. Doesn't have to be about trading. You want to know something? I'll answer it. All right. I want to thank all of you watching on YouTube. Hit the like button. This is fun. We enjoy ourselves trading. So, our next event, everybody, I recommend that you get up early and join us tomorrow morning. I was, I had a pretty high number in the draft. I did have a high number, and I was a paranoid schizophrenic with a letter to prove it. Um, but I had a high number. And then the draft ended. The draft ended the year I got my number, so no, hardly anyone was getting drafted when my time was up. Um, Trying to think what else. I registered. I didn't want to go to jail for not registering. I don't think too many people went to jail for not registering, but you did. You just registered. That's what you did. You had to do it. I certainly didn't want to go kill people. I probably would have played in the band had I gotten inducted because they always need trombone players. All right. Any other questions? Nobody. All right. Tomorrow, I'm recommending everyone get up early. Home Depot is a family money trade. Home Depot has had one bad move over the past couple of years. It's been an excellent, excellent earnings trade. Highly recommend it. Um, just to go over the day tomorrow, the ADP weekly jobs report, I expect nothing from that. Nothing. Okay. It's just, will be figured what the heck. Let's check it out, and we'll check out the gold open one more time tomorrow. Then we have our normal market opens. Just so you know, the Australia Wage Price Index does not move the Australian market anymore. It's not worth trading. It hasn't had a tradable move in years. And then the API report has not been worth trading in quite a while, months and months and months. It's had one over the past 2 or 3 months. All right. Everybody, you guys are all trading at 1550. A lot of you are trading end of the day. You have a 1 o'clock trading it when everybody comes back from lunch. That's an interesting one. I do want to thank everyone who's watching us on YouTube. Now, this is when technology drives me crazy. I just touched the side button on my mouse. I just touched it, and it disconnected the trader. That's crazy. That's technology. I don't know how to turn that off, those buttons off. I just don't know. Because you can't read the manual that came with the mouse. The type is so small, not even an ant. It's too small for an ant to even read it. And forget an uncle. An uncle couldn't read it either. The typing is so small. I bought smart glasses. Yeah, yep, you got to take a picture of it. Someone had the best idea, take a picture of it and blow up the picture. I bought a pair of smart glasses. The manual was, you couldn't read it. I couldn't read it. And I never thought of taking a picture of it. That was great. The best advice. That was a great advice. So anyway, uh, take a picture of the router password. I want to thank everyone on YouTube. I'm going to close our YouTube stream. I believe we're streaming tomorrow on YouTube. Hey, the YouTube feeds are blurry. YouTube feeds are blurry. Davis, I'm working on it. I don't know why they're blurry. They shouldn't be. I am on the highest resolution monitors and software. It's unbelievable. And I'm having an issue. No joke. So I do know there's a problem, and I don't know. One of the problems is our trade room software doesn't really support high res. So Calvin, let me try. What are you saying I should try to do? Because I'm not an expert on everything that I do, and I don't have enough time to spend 80 hours tech supporting, unfortunately, our YouTube streaming, and I don't have a team of people helping me. So if I go to our YouTube channel and go to YouTube Studio, there should be a place, right, that I can increase the resolution somewhere. That's what you're telling me? So first I have to figure out how to get to YouTube Studio. So no, if 360 is the highest, how is that going to be any better? How is there anything that I could do that would make it any better? Davis, you're saying that this is something new that has happened recently? Is that what you're saying? How long ago did this problem happen for you? Because I have two different computers that I use, and I'm getting ready to go back to my other computer because it's faster than this one. See, I'm not using videos. I'm not using 360p resolution on anything. My resolution is above 1080. It's above normal high res. But I'm thinking it's being downscaled in our. Could it be that I have OBS set wrong? That's possible. Maybe my OBS is set on the wrong resolution. Let me look into this. That, because I'm streaming via OBS. Okay. No, I appreciate the comments, but I'm going to have to look into it. I just don't know when I'm going to have time to look into it. I'll see what I can do. I'm just going through the settings on OBS. I'll have to ask Chatty. I'll have to ask Chatty. I'll make a note to see if I can improve it. I would have thought that if I'm sending high res into the trade room, it should send the high res out, and it's not. The trade room software is shrinking is downscaling the res. And I'm not talking 2K even. I don't want 2K or anything super high res. I just want 1080p. normal high res, normal old fashioned high res. Davis, I wish I could give you an answer today. I'm going to try and look into it a little bit and see if I can figure something out. Obviously, we want it to be better. I want it to be better. Right, so double problem. Small chart and low res makes it impossible to see anything. So, not to kill a dead bird here with 80,000 stones. That's not even the right, that's not even the right conversation. But if I go to YouTube and I'm not logged in, what I'm seeing is not as bad as what you're describing. It's not that bad. Anyway, I give you my word, I will try to look into it as best as I can. So next time you're on, ask me if anything came of it, and I'll let you know the status. So I have two areas to look. I'll check OBS, and I know our trader and software company cannot cannot do any better. Hey Davis, take a picture and send it to my email. Would you do that? Help at 10minutetrades.com. Let me see what your screen looks like. It could be just you. It's possible. Yeah, unfortunately, I am 72. Unfortunately, yes. The next breath can be my last. I'm afraid to go out because I don't want to die at Foreman Mills. Can you imagine dying in a clothing store? No, that's not where I want to die. Anybody can give me some advice where, how can I lengthen my life? Calvin, why are you on YouTube chat? Why are you on YouTube chat? It's never you, right? Davis, I know. It's never you. It has to be us. It has to be us. Calvin, yeah, check the resolution. I won't hang up yet. Dan, I get it. Stay home a lot. Stay home a lot. That's funny. I have a motorcycle. I ride my motorcycle everywhere. So I feel pretty good, other than the fact that I got hit by a car 3 years ago, and I live in unbelievable level 10 pain every second of my life. Besides that, I feel pretty good. And I'm not joking. Draft number 7. Oh, draft. I've got you. I got you, David. No, nobody. It might have been another 12 ticks, Frank, it looks like. If you stayed in for like 20 minutes, it looks like it went back up another 12. So, Frank, it just didn't seem worth it. 24 ticks, Frank. That's what it was available. I mean, it's worth it if you did it. It would have been about a 20-minute, half-hour trade. That kind of move, there's no way to know. Is it going to continue making new highs or is it done making new highs? I know who you are. I want the Sahara, but the problem is my car, the value stinks, and I have a loan on it. Calvin, you're saying the YouTube resolution is bad. So where do I change it? Tell me where to change it. I'll change it right now and you'll tell me if it's any better. Where do I change it? That's what I don't know. So I'll go to YouTube Studio. I'll go to our YouTube Studio. I mean, I could ask Chatty. I'll ask Chatty. 9 times out of 10, when I ask ChatGPT to help me with software, they never know. They never get it right, ever. They just, it's incapable of fixing software issues most of the time, at least my experience. It's very frustrating. We are in probably the most horrifying AI bubble that the world has ever seen. YouTube Studio, where can I upgrade our resolution? I have no idea. I just don't know. There's not really a settings button. Um, there's not a, there's video analytics, channel analytics, creator insider, but there's no settings. No settings. There's a dashboard. I'm on the dashboard. It's pretty frustrating. I cannot, there doesn't seem to be an easy place to find settings for it. Let me do a search. Let me do a quick search before we leave, and then I'm going to get out of here. How do I increase Yeah, it's in OBS. It's in OBS. Okay. Okay, so I've got OBS open. Hang in there. Stay there, Calvin. Although maybe you don't need to be on YouTube. Maybe you need to look at it off of YouTube. Might be better. Let me see if they can tell me how to change the settings. Go to video. Now we're getting somewhere. No, my base resolution. Okay, my output. Oh man, they're just talking nonsense now that I don't understand. Okay, there's a base resolution, which would be my monitor. And my monitor that I'm streaming on is high. My monitor res 3440 by 1440. I don't even think the software supports it. No, it won't even let me put it in. It doesn't even let me choose. Something's not working properly. Oh, video is active. Turn off the outputs. Oh, for Lord's sake. Let me stop streaming. All right, folks. Thanks everybody on YouTube. We're going to stop streaming. See you all tomorrow.